tell me you've got the chops and the skills of Eddie Van Halen.
One of the things Ted Templeman talks about in his book, how we remember where we were the first time we heard that album. Whoa. There it is right there. This
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
And they bought the rights to use it.
102.3 WBAB.
It was such a pivotal moment.
Nobody knew Van Halen prior to that. Oh, God, yo. You know, I mean, who does that?
All right, man. Van Halen, Eruption left a mark.
Huge.
Now, what I mean by that, we've had a couple of discussions on this channel, like Stormtroopers of Death. We remember where we were the first time we heard that album. We had another video where we talked about we remember where we were when we first heard Livewire. And I'm just curious, everybody watching this, and probably us, remember the first time you heard Eruption. Now, for me, it was years later, you know, because I was, 8 or whatever when this album, I was 8 years old when the album came out. But still, so years later, somebody breaks it out and they played this thing for you and you go, whoa, what the heck?
Just happened?
And that's what I mean.
What did I just listen to?
It left a mark because you remember the moment you heard the thing.
That's a guitar. This is probably one of my favorite albums straight up ever.
Hey, and real quick, if you like this content that we do, if you would do me a favor right now and click that subscribe button and also click the like button. And one more thing, we also want to express our appreciation to Digitech for their ongoing support of the channel. Go to digitech.com. If you're a guitar player, see all the latest tech, all the latest gear they have. They always have awesome things there. Go to digitech.com.
First time in New York, on Long Island, the rock station was 102.3 WBAB, right? That was my radio voice. They would play Eruption and You Really Got Me kind of like together. You guys from Long Island know, right? And it was like, I thought it was the intro forever till I finally was like, I love it. This Van Halen. I had another friend that his older brother was like, Van Halen rules, you know. Robert Cooper, that was you, right? And I mean, he had, like, this guy was such a Van Halen. I remember he had like this jacket that had 1984 cover with the baby smoking. Painted on the back of his denim jacket. We talked about the Kiss
back
covers
patches and all this stuff that people had on their jackets.
Yeah. He had the denim jacket with it painted. And, I mean, that was just the thing. But, yeah, I always thought Eruption was part of, I'm like, what a great intro. I had no idea till later on that's Eddie. Like, because unlike, like, I'm just playing a solo and it's just one, Eruption starts out with Alex, bang, you know, the whole band kind of playing. Obviously, Dave's not singing. But it was like, whoa. And then it kind of seamlessly goes into You Really Got Me. So the radio station would play that back to back. Kind of like, you remember like, I don't know if in Denver they had like, they would play like those two Led Zeppelin songs.
Two Zeppelin songs, two Queen songs.
Back to back.
And the same thing with Queen. And We Are the Champions and We Will Rock You.
Yeah.
For some reason,
some radio
it was Live
thing.
and Love and Made and...
Exactly.
I can't remember what the name of the other one.
Right?
Heartbreaker. They'd for some reason, because they're like a half a second apart on the album,
They just
always played them both. And interestingly, same thing for me. I just kind of felt like it was just the intro to You Really Got Me.
It's amazing.
And the story, Ted Templeman in his book talks about this, where he was walking through the studio. Eddie was just jamming. And he realizes at that moment, because it left a mark for him too.
Right.
Because he had a moment where he goes, wait a minute, what is this you're playing? He's like, this is a little thing I would do to warm up. And basically he goes into the control room to tell Don Landy, dude, roll tape. And he's like, already on it. We're already rolling tape.
First of all, can you imagine being in 1978 or 77, right? Probably when they were recording this. And hearing Eddie playing like he did at that time, I mean, he was free and loose, and to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, for Ted Templeman and you know, Don Landy, I mean, you're listening to something that is almost unimaginable sonically to your ears at that time. Nothing else is out there. You are changing music, rock music. I mean,
you're right, because I heard an interview with somebody from Pixar. This was a long time ago, but he was talking about how as they're creating some of these movies, they're kind of like sitting there like, you're going to love what we have here.
Right.
And I'm imagining that Ted Templeman's like listening to this going, sweet mother, as soon as the world hears this,
right?
They're not even, what we have here that the world is they're about to experience, you're just not even going to believe it. And he knows what he's got. And it's sitting there and it's going to end up on this vinyl, man. And they're like, oh my gosh, people are going to hear this.
I mean,
it's pretty wild.
It's not like the classical composers like, ooh, you're going to love what Mozart's got. In like a couple hundred years, it's going to be appreciated. No, these guys were in the studio listening to this virtuoso because obviously they had recorded other people, right?
Oh, Templeman had been around for a while.
Forever.
Like with some big names.
So you got this kid coming in that's just straight up shredding. And with the Floyd Rose dive bombing, like you listen to this, nothing else leading up to it could have prepared you to what these guys were doing. That's why, to me, it is one of my favorite albums. When I was going to do sports or doing anything, heading to a bike race, Van Halen 1 cassette was in my car and turned up to 11. Eruption, Jamie's Crying, even, Little Dreamer, like all these... Running with the Devil.
Running with the Devil.
All right.
Is one of the greatest rock and roll songs ever recorded.
It is so good. I was telling you when we were getting kind of ready to just hit go and record, this album is as good in 2025. It sounds incredible, and I know they remastered it, whenever, as it did when it first came out. It just holds up so good, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It just holds up so good. First of all, the first notes we hear from Eddie aren't even it's on the neck.
Clink.
It's that, right? Because you got that dun, 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 dun,
Clink.
dun. Right?
Yeah.
Nah, nah, dude, it is so good. But it's Eddie, like playing behind the nut on the...
It's actually where it's done is it's between the bridge and the... what do you think? Where and he picks up right there. Because I had a guitar that had that same spot. And it's right next to the pickup and it's clink. It's the coolest
Whatever
sound.
It was.
Yeah.
It's so... Could anything have opened up the Pandora's box of what's to come, of something so unconventional, of looking at Eddie Van Halen and what was to come? And dude, Alex, and how great his playing is, how loud his cymbals and all that's going on. Like David Lee Roth. I know I bagged on David Lee Roth a little bit when we were doing the Motley Crue video, that he's not the David Lee Roth of 1977. I mean, that guy, even though he's singing every other line right now, when he's out touring, and you guys have seen all the TikToks and people like, I paid for this, right? But in 1977, who had more swagger than David Lee Roth? And for the 80s, for that matter.
Nobody.
Zero, nobody. Dude, the guy's writing about, he can hang out, and the room was just, dude, I'm David Lee Roth. Yeah. I was reading Sebastian Bach's book, and he was at the Rainbow Room, in the 80s. And he's already, breaking out big with Skid Row and stuff, and he went to the Rainbow Room, and he was trying to keep up with David Lee Roth. And I can't remember exactly the story, but Sebastian got kicked out because he was dancing on tables. So they were having a good time. And David was like, boy... I don't know. Sebastian tells some story of just how David's like, you have no idea what I'm all about. DLR, David Lee Roth. I mean, it was just like, I am the master.
Well, Gene Simmons, in that he did an interview, I think we talked about this with David Duchovny, has a podcast
recently,
now. And I think it was on there where he was talking. Oh, no. This was a different thing. Oh, I can't remember what it was, but he was talking about who the greatest frontman ever was. And Gene Simmons said, David Lee Roth.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, I actually made a little video about this, and there were a few people that said Robert Plant, which I go, as far as a frontman though, I don't know. Robert Plant was a sex symbol, but I don't know that he had the swagger that you're talking about. He just was this naturally whatever. The only other one that people mentioned that I was like, yeah, you maybe, is Mick Jagger.
Sure.
Where you go, Mick is and he's been long term. Where David Lee Roth had a window, but Gene Simmons made the point when he was at his peak, there was just nobody like him. He had and it wasn't even that he had a great voice. It was just everything about him, everything else.
Listen to first of all, just look at this picture, man. I mean,
dude,
look at him on the back cover, right?
Dude, how do you get cooler than that picture, man?
What,
that is so great.
What's that game where you got to go under the bar? The
Limbo?
Yeah. Dude, this is David Lee Roth, California Limbo champion, 1977 or whatever.
He's got platform shoes on. And he's dude, that is one of the coolest rock star pictures ever taken right there. That is crazy cool.
That's what I'm saying. So first of all, we're talking about the first time we heard Eruption. Just blows our mind, right? Yeah. But the package that came around that, because we were young when it first came out, but the package of Van Halen was so big, because we're talking about Alex, we're talking about David Lee Roth, and Eddie Virtuoso in the same room, in the same band, together. Not to mention Michael Anthony,
who has these vocals that add this whole perfect thing, and Ted Templeman. I think it's in his book. He talks about Michael Anthony. He's like, the guy nailed it and played the perfect thing. So he kind of gets overshadowed, but you realize that this guy was a critical part of that package that we're talking about. I mean, dude, Alex Van Halen is an unbelievable drummer, and if Eddie Van Halen was not in the band, he would people would be like, dude, this guy is one of the greatest drummers ever lived, but he just gets overshadowed because you've got this bigger than life personality, and then you've got Eddie Van Halen. You put those two guys in the front of the stage, and you don't notice.
That's what I'm talking about. You go back to the cover here, right? You've got 4 crazy, awesome, just 4 incredible people that make this incredible album. Like, what's the song? I'm on fire, and the Michael Anthony singing his song, I'm on fire.
I know it's
so
great.
High. It's so out of the stratosphere. It's like, what are you doing?
He's amazing.
He's amazing.
Yeah,
and
he's great. And he's cool.
He's cool but you listen to this album, and it's just like, how much? When the harmonies, when they do, I can't remember the song off the top of my head right now, where they ba ba da shooby doo wop ba da ba. You talking
about Ice Cream? You're not talking about Ice Cream.
I'm not talking about Ice Cream Man. It's like they have the break.
Feel Your Love Tonight.
Yeah.
I can't wait to feel your love tonight.
Yeah,
yes,
and
they have the whole heart. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Vocals, there's so many pieces
Dude, what a
that
great
makes
song.
them great.
Yeah.
I mean, we can go through the track list, but the fact is, Eddie's Eruption, right now you can go on YouTube, and just about every kid that's out there that's learning rock guitar is ripping up and playing Eruption.
It's a touchstone. Nothing. It became a touchstone for learning how to play the guitar.
But the first time you hear it, and that's what we're talking about, is is that even guitar? What is
going on here?
What is going on here?
And like you said, it's different than just a guitar solo too, because it does have the band. Bum, bum, bum.
It's just, I mean, the fact that we can even hum along to Eruption.
Yeah. It's so crazy.
We talk about, when we were covering King's X, we were talking about how bands have space in their music. As I mentioned, like Van Halen, their debut, this one, there's a lot of space. And you think about, we just talked about Eddie, Alex, David Lee Roth, and all his yells and screams and vocal parts and the who. Good God, yo. You know, I mean, who does that? They're so unconventional. I think is what made them just incredible. Incredible. That even today, you're like, nobody does that. Good God, yo. Whoo, I'm on fire. Like, what's happening? What am I listening to?
So great. It's so great.
I mean, Atomic Punk, that is such a great song. Like, over the years, different songs kind of resonated more with me. I mean, obviously, Running with the Devil, Eruption, you know, You Really Got Me. Those were all over the place. All over the place.
I live my life like there's no tomorrow.
That is...
What a great... I mean, to start the whole thing off with that line.
Right. So
it's so great, man.
So great. I mean, well, I don't know what you guys think, but this is definitely... The more I talk about it, the more I'm like, this is like fantastic.
Yeah.
So... Yeah, I mean, it's just. Ooh, I'm like, almost out of breath.
What got us started on this was we were just comparing it to some other things we talked about, which was Eruption, where we have these moments where we hear things and we go, okay,
right.
I remember that because it was such a moment. It was such a pivotal moment in Eruption. The interesting thing about that compared to the other things we talked about. Because Stormtroopers of Death, we both remember where we were when we heard that. We have, the other one was Livewire. We both remember where we were when we heard that. This one, not only do people remember where they were when they heard that, the entire culture, in some ways, it left a mark on the world. Because to your point, you have kids across the world right now that learn how to play that thing.
Right, tapping.
Yeah.
Who did...
Yep.
You know, I mean, that was so foreign. The other thing that I'm thinking of that I'm putting in like Stormtroopers of Death was so like understate, like not mainstream. Van Halen, when this album, it was on the radio. Eruption was on the radio. We thought, like I said, I thought it was the intro part to You Really Got Me. I didn't even know You Really Got Me was a cover from the Kinks. Till later. But it's like, wait a minute. Like, the way it was packaged and the way it was on, like, you're driving down the road and it's like, oh, you know, Eruption's on the radio. You know. To me, it's just, that's what made it different because it was mainstream.
Yep.
Being heard by everybody that loved rock. And Van Halen changed that. And basically just recalibrated what rock was.
Yeah.
Between all these things that were...
That's a good way to put it.
Between all these things. Because, yeah, it wasn't like, oh, we're playing blues-based or we're like, you know, Led Zeppelin or this is... Yeah, we're recalibrating on what can be done, both musically, vocally, on the drums. I mean, and putting it in a package that... Because you listen to all these songs. Let's go through the track list. We go through these songs and it's like, you know, all of them are just great on their own. Like, I'd be happy if I wrote one of those, right? Running with the Devil.
So, yeah, they don't have them in order here, but...
Okay,
so
name them off.
You Really Got Me.
Right, that was like on the radio all the time.
That was like the first single that got put out. And it also set the stage for the fact that they would doing covers was normal for them.
Yeah. I mean, Diver Down's like 90% covers.
Yeah, it's got a lot of them. Jamie's Crying.
I mean, like, how big
talk about a classic song.
That is a great song. And what, covered by Tone Loc? Like, they took that
snippet. That's right.
Funky Cole Medina. Yeah. I'd forgotten about that. But yes.
So, on Fire.
We talked about that. That song has grown on me over the years as more like, because it's so high energy. But go ahead.
Running with the Devil.
We talked about that. How great a song is that?
It's one of their best tunes. It is a quintessential, just awesome.
But that's
rock and
what
roll
I'm
song.
talking about. Like Eddie, we live in a world where people want to like shred and go on. We talk about Vinnie Vincent and how he couldn't like not shred. Tell me, you've got the chops and the skills of Eddie Van Halen, and he's playing like the verse part of Running with the Devil. I mean, tell me, he's just like chill, holding back. I mean, is that not like giving it the space that we talk about?
Yeah.
That's just like so cool. And then when he's playing the chorus, right?
Yeah, it's great.
It's so much more powerful.
Yeah,
because he's holding back.
Yeah. That's right. He was tasteful in how he did this stuff.
And great songwriting.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like you're talking, I live my life like there's no tomorrow. Like,
oh yeah. Well, David Lee Roth, and that's one of the things Ted Templeman talks about in his book. How, and matter of fact, Alex Van Halen in his book talks about it too, where he just had David Lee Roth would write these brilliant little short things that packed all this stuff in these little lines, and then the way he would weave them together. And I mean, the song "Jump." You think that's just some silly top 40 tune, but his whole idea behind Jump, is because he says, "You see me standing here, got my back against the record machine. I ain't the worst that you've seen. Don't you see what I mean? Go ahead and jump." And he explained to Ted Templeman,
right here,
this is about taking a leap of faith. This is about doing the thing. This is about don't wait till tomorrow. Get the thing done. And you go, oh, dude, whoa. And then you put the words together, and you're like, it's these brilliant little things.
Right? No, I mean, over the years, David Lee Roth he's much more, I want to say, cerebral than we want to give him credit for.
Yeah.
I mean, he can write a song about my glasses and phone sitting here and be like, dude, that's the greatest song ever. I mean, he just had that knack.
Yeah, he did.
To write about anything and make it cool. Because he had the swagger. What else we got? So Running with the Devil. One. That's kind of almost like like shuffly, like, right? I mean, that's a cool tune.
Then the song, I mean, it's not the right order, but a song that kind of in some ways defined David Lee Roth as a singer
is
Ain't Talking About Love.
That is a great song.
Dude.
I remember listening to that. I've been to the edge. Right?
Yes. That's when we start listening, that little talking that you do.
Right?
Great. Yeah.
Who does that? Who did that back then? And maybe somebody might know somebody, but to that level?
There's one person I remember. Saw you walking out of school that day. That day I knew. I got to have you.
Yeah. Gene.
That's creepy.
Yeah, that's creepy, bro.
Not like this was. Yeah. So,
right? I stood and looked down.
Dude, it's great.
Lost lots of friends there, baby. Right? Isn't that what he says? I got no time to mess around. I mean.
And then bah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And that song's the one that's like, hey. Dun, 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 dun. Hey. I mean.
It's great, dude.
It's so good.
It's anthemic.
Okay,
then we've got Little Dreamer, which I think we talked about a second ago.
And that's a great song. Again, Eddie, just tasteful.
Yeah. And then Feel Your Love Tonight, which is just great. Then you have, of course, Atomic Punk.
I love that one's grown on me as well because I just think that's the one with the like beginning, like, jeez.
And then they say Eruption, and then the very last one that they list there was one of my favorites when I was a kid. Was Ice Cream Man. I'm an ice cream man, stop me when I'm passing by.
Again,
all my flavors are guaranteed to satisfy.
And then like the talking, right, dude, so much swagger in his vocals. Just around 11 o'clock. Yeah, I mean, it's just
stop.
I mean, just all that talking, kind of singing. Is he singing? Is he talking? What's going on here?
Yeah,
but awesome. This is a hard rock album, and you've got Ice Cream Man and the swing beats and whatever. That just shows you the depth that these guys had, and this is their debut. What the critics have to say.
Okay, so we're going to read. I actually found one record review. This came out like a month after the album did.
So fresh.
Brand new stuff, yeah. Okay, so this record review, this is from the Post-Star. Where is this? This is in Glen Falls, New York. Record reviews.
Nice. That's upstate.
Oh, yeah, this is kind of, well, nearer to you than it ever was to me. Okay, here we go. This is kind of cool, the comparisons they make. The best hard rock band to emerge since Aerosmith in 1972. Van Halen is going to make for a sizzling summer.
Nice.
A blistering quartet with searing lead guitar, thunderous drums and bass, and a powerful lead singer. Van Halen is the most high-energy band this side of Ted Nugent.
All right.
The album is produced in crystal clear white heat sound. You know, Ted Nugent at that time was a big deal.
He was a big deal, but
I love Ted.
Is he high energy?
Yeah, Ted. You know what? You gotta give Ted his due, because he wasn't David Lee Roth, but he did have a little bit of that.
He had the Motor City
thing.
Madman swagger.
No. He's sitting the way he just. I remember listening to Double Live Gonzos. I had a cassette tape of it, and I'd listen to it on the way to school. And I remember, I can't remember what song it was before, but he has all this banter. Yeah, he starts talking about his guitar, and he goes, "Yeah, I guaranteed to blow balls off charging rhino at 50 paces or something like that." Like, dude, this guy is so funny. He was so funny. I loved Ted, man. I did. I loved Ted. Okay, anyway.
Right. Well,
so it's a good comparison. Dude, it is a good comparison.
Best band since Aerosmith, and more energy than Ted Nugent.
High energy band this side of Ted Nugent.
All right.
And Ted had the energy. We saw Ted.
I know we saw Ted.
We saw the Motor City Madman later on in his career, but he was freaking amazing. I love Ted Nugent.
He was good.
It was great stuff. Okay. The group consists of lead guitarist Edward Van Halen, a kid with laser light strings on his guitar, brother Alex Van Halen on drums, Michael Anthony on bass, and David Lee Roth on vocals. The emphasis of the music is on guitar and drums, which are exceptionally hot. And the vocals of Roth, who has a rich, raunchy, raw rock voice. Rich, raunchy, raw rock voice.
A lot of R's in there.
Yes. Roth, rich, raunchy, raw rock. But Van Halen's guitar is something else again. He produces sounds, and this is what we were.
Yeah.
He produces sounds which no one else has discovered yet. A truly virtuoso rock guitar.
And this is as people are listening to the first time.
Dude.
Can you imagine as a rock critic, you're putting that on? You've listened to Aerosmith, Ted Nugent, Led Zeppelin, Kiss, whatever it was, and then you put this on?
I said this in the Rush video that I put out earlier. This is why I love our channel. Because what we do, we literally go back and listen to what people were saying as they were discovering it. Because for us, you know, this is almost 50 years ago.
Sure.
We have all the stuff in between, and to listen to these people that are just experiencing it as it's happening is a totally different thing.
I agree.
It's a little bit like when you have a kid, when your child is first discovering something and you're there with them, watching them discover it. It's like so great. That's the way this channel feels to me. Like we get to go back and like experience
relive what they're doing.
Yes, that's why. Anyway, I just plugging that's why I love doing this. Okay.
Well, but it is some of the people that are watching bought this album when it came out. Hey, I got it. I put it on my turntable, right? Who are you guys? Right? Part of our fraternity.
Put it in the comments. Yes.
Because obviously this is a game changer. The album's been out a month. Nobody knew Van Halen prior to that unless you lived in Southern California. And maybe.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Warner Brothers is so stoked on the group, they sent reviewers a preview album for an advanced listen, and it does make you listen. Now, that is interesting.
Yeah.
Because if they don't send preview albums, that says something. If they do send a preview album, that says something. Just the fact that they sent it. Basically is the record company saying, we really, really believe in this because we want you to hear this before it comes out, because we know you're going to love it, and then you're going to get that groundswell.
Right. And this is obviously 78, pre-internet, pre-news. You know, disc jockeys had,
You know,
a lot of power.
And this is interesting because, by the way, when they toured on this album, they were opening up for Black Sabbath.
Crazy,
and the guys in Black Sabbath started realizing somewhere in the tour, or at least suspecting, that the reason that they sent Van Halen out with Black Sabbath was not because they believed in Black Sabbath. It was because they wanted to introduce Van Halen to Black Sabbath's fans because they knew Black Sabbath was on the way out. And they're looking at Van Halen and go, these are the new guys.
Was Black Sabbath on Warner Brothers?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they were, and they were on the Never Say Die album. And so they sent them out with Black Sabbath. And so the guys in Black Sabbath started suspecting, I think the reason that they sent them with us is because because even Ozzy would tell you that Van Halen was killing them every night. And so they're thinking, I think the reason they sent them with us is because they're hoping that our fans, because we're filling up the arena.
Right. We're Black Sabbath.
We're filling
huge.
up the arena to introduce our fans to Van Halen. And so Tony Iommi is going, now wait a minute. I think I know what's going on here. Anyway, just by the way.
Great marketing on Warner Brothers.
Oh, heck
part.
yeah. Yeah, for sure.
We got the next wave we're getting on.
Yeah, exactly. That's how much they believed in Van Halen. They're like, we're going to send them out with a big band because we believe in these guys. Okay, there are 5 cuts on the preview album, each one a potential hit, and several sounding like pieces of classic rock and roll that will be around for a long time. The group, which has been making a name for itself around LA, writes much of its music. 3 of the 5 cuts in the review pressing are by the group, including the blistering opener, Running with the Devil, and Eruption, and the closing, Jamie's Cryin', all of which have potential. Ray Davies' classic, You Really Got Me, is given a sizzling performance here, as is the old slow blues piece, Ice Cream Man. So can you imagine getting a preview album that had those 5 things on it? You'd be going, dude, what be like, is going?
Grab the needle,
yes,
put it back, and be like, what did I just
listen to?
I mean, talk about, we've just covered how eclectic of a how their songs.
Tony, get in here, get everybody in here and listen to this
because it's so. I mean, those 5 songs are pretty different. So it's the range that we were talking about.
Yeah. And then he goes on and this is how he ends the thing. He says, "You'll be hearing this band all summer and loving every minute of it."
That's a great review, and the guy was on point.
Yeah,
good job.
Yeah, whoever this was written by, I don't know, somebody. in the
record reviews,
Post-Star, whatever, something.
Well, whoever you are,
yeah,
you got it right.
He got
it. Was around for all summer and summers to come,
and many summers to come.
I mean, right? I mean, still, classic rock stations are playing plenty.
It's so funny because you can say that about probably almost every Van Halen album. But one of the ones that we talk about a bunch that I've talked about on this channel many times that became the soundtrack for a summer was Diver Down. Oh, weirdly, even though people knock that album, that really did become Take That to the Beach.
Pretty Woman.
The whole thing.
Yeah. I had my boombox going to Jones Beach.
Yeah.
Had it on. Diver Down. With like a backup set of like 5 AA or not AA, the D's, the big D batteries.
How many did your boombox take?
I think it was like 4 or 5.
Mine was 6. Took six D's. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Diver Down.
Anyway,
Pretty Woman.
So
that was a summer
and
Pretty
another
Woman,
cover.
Yeah.
Which by the way, I loved their version of Pretty Woman. That was so cool.
It was good.
And then they had it was Intruder. Right before that one, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That had all the sound effects and things, and then it was similarly to what we thought about this.
Yeah,
so
what a great album! You know, I got like I love Van Halen so much, and I had really kind of forgotten until we started talking about this. Is like I got like even like a bootleg. I don't even know how I got it. Somebody like, but can you before I even get to that? Can you imagine how many of you were out got your Black Sabbath tickets and maybe saw Van Halen on this tour? How cool would that have been? Or Van Halen 2? Like
There's
early
a bunch
Van
of
Halen.
people on this channel that did, because they've communicated with me. They put it in the comments below on these videos.
That would be
a bunch of people did.
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Or Women and Children First. Like any of those tours would be incredible to have been a witness of. I mean, the first time I saw them live was at the US Festival because they headlined. I'm like, these guys got to be great, which I already kind of knew who they were for some of these songs. But to see them in that performance, it's a big deal, right? So
Yeah, the first time I saw them in person, sadly, was the 1984 tour.
yeah. I mean, that's when, everybody was coming to school with the baby shirts, with the cover, right? The album cover shirts.
Yep. And then they had a shirt that had the thing with the mallet behind its back, or I can't remember what that was. But they actually bought that character, as I recall, from a company that was an exterminator or something. And they had this little character, and they had it up on the back of the stage.
That's right.
And I think, because I have a 1984 T-shirt, and I think that character's on the back of it.
Because I had, what's the one? Is that the one? There, I remember people wearing a shirt that had Eddie had like dice on his T-shirt or something like that. I think it was it could have been 84 or maybe Diver Down.
It's this little dude. There it is, right there. This
Oh
thing
yeah.
that had the
Yes. Yep. It's like from like the 1920s comic or something like that.
Well, I think, as I recall, and I read about this somewhere, that this was actually a character that was from some company, and they bought the rights to use it
That's
for
cool.
something, to use it. As I may be getting that wrong. Somebody can correct me and put it
somebody
down in
knows,
the comments.
for sure.
But they just loved this little character, and it just kind of became just part of the marketing for Van Halen 1984 that year. And I believe my Van Halen T-shirt has this on the back of it.
Nice.
So yeah,
Yeah, man. I mean, just think about,
so cool, man. So
for those of you that experienced that, like how great were these guys? I can only imagine these guys live in those days. Or maybe even somebody saw them before they got signed. How
my
great.
gosh, to be able to say you did that.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be incredible.
Yeah, indeed. So anyway, that's cool stuff. I mean, it's the whole point. We brought this up again, like we said, and we want to hear from you about this.
First time you heard
The
Eruption.
first time you heard Eruption, where were you? What was going on? Do you remember that? Kind of like us, Stormtroopers Death. We remember the first time we heard that, where we were, the whole experience. Livewire,
Yeah.
backyard Nerf football for me.
Yeah.
And then you had the Eruption, the first time you heard that.
Yeah.
So where was it? What was your experience like?
We want to know.
Yes, indeed. So anyway, hey, thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Hey, we also want to thank Digitech for always supporting the
Yep.
channel. We've got their stuff back here behind us. Go to digitech.com. You can see all their cool gear, all the latest technology. They have awesome stuff there. Digitech.com.
They got some throwback pedals too from like back in this era. Yeah. I mean, you can check out their website. It's cool.
Indeed. So, and please subscribe, like the video, leave your comments down below. And with that, have yourself a fantastic day.